information help with health decisions?
Sure, so it's important to understand that when we're looking at genomics, which is different than genetics, we're actually looking at a gene's potential for expression, meaning this gene has a particular SNP that can, at some point, potentially express an outcome that has an impact on your health.
So Diagnostic Solutions Laboratory also offers GI map testing. Can you tell us more about this?
So the GI map is a comprehensive stool evaluation to look for any issues that might be chronic to the GI or affecting other parts of the body rather than acute measurements of organisms that might be causing severe symptoms that you would seek primary care for. For example, H. pylori. This is a common organism we measure, and H. pylori is capable of not only causing ulcers, but it can cause gastritis, it can cause hypochlorhydria or hyperchlorhydria, and that's based on its genes. So we actually measure things called virulence factors that tell us what potential outcome or potential symptoms that particular H. pylori might be able to induce on you, which is a game changer in understanding progression of disease from one particular organism, H. pylori.
We're learning through emerging science that the composition of the microbes in your intestinal tract have a lot to do with a lot of different medical disorders that are not necessarily thought of as intestinal problems. And we set out to develop a test for the gastrointestinal system that was far superior and use the latest in technology to allow doctors to test things and come up with real solutions for people with ongoing chronic problems, not only gastrointestinal problems, but a wide range of systemic problems that are very common in our society today.
So Tony, how is the GI map test different from other tests?
We're using DNA to identify the organisms. So that allows us not only to identify where organisms are present, we're also using qPCR, which is quantitative PCR, which allows us to tell you exactly how much of an organism is there. Additionally, we don't stop at just identifying which organisms might be present, whether it be a pathogen or a opportunistic organism or a fungi, yeast, parasites. We can actually look into the DNA of the organism, similar to Genomic Insight we were talking about earlier. We're looking for SNPs or genes on the genome of the organisms, which then can tell us what the potential output is for an organism. Because we're looking at the DNA of the organisms, we can do what's called AR genes, which are antibiotic resistance gene testing. So now, if we diagnose and say a patient has a C. difficile, we can also look to see if that particular strain of C. difficile is resistant to a number of antibiotics. So we can avoid antibiotics that would perpetuate the growth of that organism, making symptoms worse.
You know, I was with Diagnostic Solutions Lab from the beginning when we first conceived of and developed the GI map test. And we were a bunch of clinicians and a bunch of science, laboratory scientists, and we were really trying to develop a tool for integrative and functional medicine physicians to be able to better diagnose their patients and better ascertain how changes in the intestinal health and the gut ecology, as we call it, may help them better guide their treatment options for patients with complex chronic diseases. The GI map test uses qPCR, and that is really the kind of method that doctors are looking for to make a decision.
And Tony, how quickly does Diagnostic Solutions Laboratory turn around results?
So in the case of the GI map, those results will be out in a matter of 3 or 4 days. With Genomic Insight testing, that can take 2 to 3 weeks.
So Tony, recognizing that physicians have overwhelming, overloaded schedules, how are you a resource to them?
So there's various aspects to the laboratory. We have research and development, and then we have production, and then we also have clinical educators on staff to schedule consultations with clinicians to help walk through any questions they might have about this newer technology, how we do things, or the new information that we gather from these new technologies.
Well, Tony, thank you so much for sharing how Diagnostic Solutions Laboratory is going beyond standard medical testing to support clinicians. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you.
This is Worldwide Business, uniting brands and media outlets for over 20 years. Visionary leaders, business experts. This is Worldwide Business.
Higher education offers students the opportunity to improve their lives and livelihood. Obtaining unique and relevant degrees in fields such as business with a focus on sustainability also enables students to improve their communities and the world. And Bill, can you tell us about the accelerated master's degree program that you offer?
The Accelerated Master's Degree at Prescott College offers students the ability to complete both bachelor's and master's degrees together, and by so doing reduces the number of courses they have to take, which means less cost and less time. How do we do it? We design several of the courses in such a way that they apply to both the bachelor's and the master's degree, so that reduces the total number of courses they need to take, the time that they would need to take courses, and the cost of tuition.
Right, and Hava, where are we seeing sustainability and business emerge in today's job market?
So most recently, many CEOs of some of the world's largest companies have come out in the press and talked about the importance of sustainability in business. And that has really opened up the conversation for people to start thinking about how we can fill the needs and fill the desires of those CEOs and the other businesses that support our communities. And Prescott is focused on that, and we are looking to instill tools and skills to the leaders of tomorrow to meet those needs and to fill those slots in these companies that need those skilled workers.
We feel that the most important thing our online students can do is work in their communities with mentors or experts in the field that they're trying to study. We believe that's the best kind of learning, and it also helps set them up for employment in their community after they graduate. So we think it works on many levels. Students learn the most, it leads to employment in the best way, and it allows students to share their experiences when they come together in their cohort.
Transitioning here was one of the most exciting things, and Prescott College has a lot of different options and opportunities for a student to pursue their own path. If you like to build your own educational path, and if you like to use experiences from outside of school and put them into your schoolwork, this is a school for you.
Mary, can you tell us about the ability for students to focus on an area of interest at Prescott College?
So students at Prescott College, they often will share with me in conversations specific interests they may have in business and specifically in sustainability. So part of my goal is to ascertain what that is and then work with Hava and Bill to see what opportunities we can create at Prescott so that that student can gain more expertise in that area, whether that be through mentor courses, through connecting them with an alumni that has expertise in a specific field. But really, truly, we want to make sure that that student has a chance to heighten that goal and that need. So as they move forward in their career, they have that expertise and those tools in their toolkit to make that a reality.
I love how you've all thought of everything and you serve the students so well. Thank you and best wishes to you.
Thank you,
Thank
Kathy.
you, Kathy.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for watching. I'm Kathy Ireland.
Tune in next time as we continue to explore the latest advancements brought to you by brands from around the world. Check your local listings for Worldwide Business. The proceeding was a presentation brought to you and sponsored by brands from around the globe. The opinions and views expressed are those of the program sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the opinions and views of Bloomberg.
The proceeding was a paid program. The opinions and views expressed do not reflect those of Bloomberg LP, its affiliates, or its employees. following is a paid program. The opinions and views expressed do not reflect those of Bloomberg LP, its affiliates, or its employees.
The following is a presentation brought to you and sponsored by brands from around the globe. The opinions and views expressed are those of the program sponsor and do not necessarily reflect the opinions and views of Bloomberg.
Welcome to the show. I'm Kathy Ireland. Sleep apnea is a serious disorder that affects millions of Americans. Treatment requires a CPAP machine, which can be unpleasant to